to order August 5th, 6:30 p.m. And I asked Director Flown if he'd lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready, begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
and to the
to the republic
which
which stands
one
nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with
liberty,
liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, everyone. General Manager, determination of a quorum.
Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and call roll just to make sure I get everybody. President Johnson?
Aye, here.
Vice President Unger?
Here.
Director Flowen?
Here.
Director Reynolds?
Aye, here.
And Director Hund?
Here.
Perfect. President Johnson, all directors are present. You have a quorum.
All right. I'll move on to item number 4, the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
We need to remove from the agenda the Citizens Advisory Council meeting on August 11th.
Right. I got that. I got it
okay.
as a change. Any other comments? I'll take that then, and Director Hund is making the motion to approve the agenda.
Yes.
Seconded by Director Unger.
Oh, yeah, I second.
Roll call vote. Move it along, folks.
Perfect. President Johnson?
Yes.
Vice President Unger?
Aye.
Director Flowen?
Aye.
Director Reynolds?
Aye.
Director Hund?
You know what I've been pointing out lately?
All right, thank you. Item number 5, public comment, and we had nothing come in, so we will skip to number 6, the consent calendar. And matters on the consent calendar are considered routine in nature and will be enacted in a single motion without discussion. Any board member or member of the public may request that an item be removed from the consent calendar and acted on separately. And the only item we have are the draft minutes from the July 15th meeting.
I don't know whether I did the right size. It existed or came about because.
Okay, I take that as a motion from Director Flowen.
Yes.
All right,
Second. Second.
got it. Roll call. Roll call.
Vice President Unger?
We can't hear.
Aye.
President Johnson?
Aye.
Director Hund?
Aye.
Director Reynolds?
Aye.
Director Flowen?
Aye.
All right, I'm going to turn the floor over to Director Hunt.
Okay, thank you, President Johnson. In reviewing items 7 and 8, I determined that due to a potential conflict of interest, I will be recusing myself from those agenda items due to my position as Executive Director of the Mojave Desert Land Trust, which as an organization would be entitled to a refund should the board accept staff's recommendation.
All right, is there any formal motion that we have to do on this, Mark?
No, other than Gary, I'll be opening break room 2 up for you here. You should see something to where you can move over there.
Yeah, I haven't yet, but I'll move it to the
What's that?
I haven't seen anything yet. If it doesn't come up, if it doesn't come up, Mark, I could leave the meeting and you can just text me when I can come back in.
Yeah, I think over by the end button, does it show you to leave the room?
No. Oh, wait, I got it. Oh, no, it says leave. I just have the choice of leaving the meeting.
Okay.
There's not a breakout room.
Bring up the facts.
Huh. Yeah, if you'd like to do that, and then I'll text you, Gary, when it's time to come back in. How's that sound?
No problem. No.
Okay.
Oh, you can't see it.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, I'll move on to item number 7, accept and file parcel audit report, and AGM Greer. Susan?
Yes, thank you. Mark.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. We have a presentation, a PowerPoint. Again, the recommendation tonight is for you to accept and file the report. No action is needed. We are simply confirming that we are charging standbys in accordance with policies and standards that have been adopted decades ago. So no action required for you tonight. We started this process back in 2019. It's something that's been on my radar for quite some time. This is a really important source of revenue to the district, around 15% in our 19, 20, 21 budget. So confirming that we're charging accurately is really important to the district. So as I say, we started this at the beginning of 2019. It was a huge effort, as Director Unger already alluded to, both for the consultant who did an enormous amount of work, but also for the district, especially Gail Emery in our accounts receivable position.
Oh my gosh.
Kudos to her. So
There's a lot of background noise. Does someone have a TV on or people talking? Beverly, do you hear all the background noise?
yeah, I do.
I do hear that too.
Yeah.
Maybe a TV or something.
If we could mute if you're not speaking, that would be helpful.
Somebody muted, so I guess we're good now.
Okay.
Okay, so next slide, Mark. So the parcel audit is really common within our industry. This is a measure of due diligence, ensuring that we are charging standbys in accordance with those policies and the law, in fact, our established policies and criteria and the law. The district established these rates decades ago. Actually, it was in 1996. It was 96, 97 fiscal year. And of course, at that point in time, GIS technology did not exist to perform some of these calculations to determine some of this billing criteria. And also the billing criteria isn't static. It is, it is continually changing over time. Installation of a water meter, for example, changes one of the criteria. If a main line is installed, it can change some parcel criteria. The county zones change over time. So these are things that are really out of the district's control, for the most part, either county or customer generated. So, next one, Mark. So
There's still background noise. There's still a lot of, where's that coming from?
Is there somebody that has a TV on in their background, or is there people talking in the background?
It's really interfering.
I can barely hear anybody from here.
No,
It's pretty loud.
I'll try to speak up. So the standby billing criteria, the district has nearly 13,000 individual parcels in the district, and each of those has 3 individual criteria for determining this standby charge. The district zone, which is the distance from an existing main and what pressure zone it's in. Acreage, so based on county data, and then the county zone, which is based on the county land use designation. So 12,587 individual parcels with 3 separate criteria for each is nearly 38,000 different billing criteria that must be accurate in order for this process, for this billing to be accurate. So you can see the challenge. All right, next one. So some discrepancies were identified. There are boundary issues, parcels within our boundaries that were not charged. We did not find anybody outside of our boundary that was being charged, so there's good news. Acreage, small changes are technology related. So in the past, the district software only allows for 2 decimal points in the acreage figures, whereas the county as well as the consultants softwares allow for 3 decimal points. So the example here, 10.87 acres, which would have been what we charged, versus 10.874 acres, which the county provides and which NBS can charge. That 0.004 acres has value, okay? And so it results in a discrepancy. Those we don't consider errors because we had no way to do it differently, and people were actually being charged less than what they owed. They're technology related, things that have evolved and changed over time. And then we had some other acreage errors that were really just mistakes. District zoning. So we have zone 1 meters. Our
Excuse me, Susan. Excuse me, Susan. Someone still has their TV on. Thank you. Go ahead.
Zone 1 meters, zone 1, I should say, the district zone 1 is those parcels that have water meters. So parcels with water meters attributable to them pay the lowest standby charges because they are otherwise contributing to the water district's revenues with their water charges. So they pay the least charges. Some of those were missed over the years. We didn't pick up that those changes had occurred. And other variances related to measurements from mains and locations of pressure zones. This is actually the largest area of discrepancy within the entire report. So we had some improper application of the rate table. We applied the wrong rates in some instances. And then county changes their land use zoning over time. When we established the charges in 1996, we did not even know that county land use zoning designations changed over time. So that is quite a protracted process. You can see in the parcel audit document where a whole process has been established to account for that in the future. So the total parcels that are impacted is 3,022. Remember, we have 12,587 parcels, so it's about 24%. Next. So consultant feedback. We worked, more than a year with this consultant. Their company, NBS, which is also the same firm that we use for, have used for our Copper Mountain Mesa Assessment District administration from around this same point in time, is now also going to be doing the standby billing for us on a going forward basis. So they have reviewed the standby charges for hundreds of districts across the state of California. This is very complex work, and therefore the consultant handles this billing for hundreds of districts across the state of California. Almost every single review they've ever done results in errors or anomalies, discrepancies that I've identified tonight. And most of our discrepancies really result from this technology change, GIS. We measured these things using a pencil and ruler back in 1996. It was the best we had at the time, but it was far from accurate, and there is significantly improved accuracy as a result of this technology now. So only 98 parcel discrepancies, which is 0.77%, were actual errors made by the district. The vast majority of these things were really related to this technology. Results, according to them, are quote unquote better than average, especially for a district of this size. You're never going to be able to have 38 different data points. 38,000, I'm sorry, different data points for these nearly 13,000 parcels, that are accurate without this kind of a review. And you can see the complexity that this involved. The next one. So the good news is, the impacts here is more than 3/4 of all the parcels have no changes in billing. That's 9,565 parcels, 76% of them, the billing was accurate. No changes at all. Is there a question? I'm sorry. No. We're underbilling 2,791 parcels. That's around 22% of them. That results in around $40,400 of additional annual revenue. That's mostly, again, related to this district zoning designations with this measuring, improvement. And there will be no back billing. We're not proposing any back billing of these people who we've undercharged for many, many years. There are 231 parcels, or 2%, to receive refunds due to these changes. So we've overcharged these people, and we're going to talk more about that in our next agenda item. So, how are we going to ensure that this doesn't happen again? As I said earlier, we contracted last year with NBS for ongoing standby administration of this annual billing. The consultant in this process recreates the entire billing database from the ground up each year. So they have very robust software, a far cry from what the district has. And this allows them to, easily, proficiently do this each year. They will obtain the GIS layers from the district as well as San Bernardino County, bring in any other kind of data they need, and then recreate this. So the changes are going to be caught each year as they occur, and then updated, in real time. So we're not going to get behind, find ourselves, years, if not decades later with a problem like this again. So in theory, at least, this should never require another parcel audit. This was $45,000. It's one of the reasons I really delayed for so long in pushing for it. So that should not be required again as long as we have NBS or someone like NBS doing this work for us. All right. That's the end of kind of what I've got. So again, the recommendation is to accept and file the report. It is simply confirming protocols, rules, policy, standards that have been put in place back in the 90s. So I'm happy to answer any questions for you.
President Johnson?
You're muted, Bob.
And I didn't want that static. It wasn't me. So there we are.
Okay, all right.
You want to start, Vice President Unger?
Yeah, I really read through the report very carefully this time, with different, looking at different things, I guess. I had on page 11 of the report. It's actually it's on the introduction. It's 2-1, where it talks about Joshua Basin, who we are, whatever. There is an interesting comment. It says that the district is part of Mojave Water Agency, and that's actually, we are part of, I think, of a consortium of agencies that contract with Mojave to buy water and participate in other programs. I don't think of us or anyone else who does that as part of Mojave. I think that's misleading and might be problematical at some point to put it that way.
Would it be correct to say the district is part of Improvement District M of the Mojave Water Agency? Would that be a way to frame that?
And that's the pipeline, right?
Yes,
part of it.
IDM.
Could say that, I guess.
What do you like better? What do you like better than this?
Mine, I guess, was a little longer to say that we are part of a consortium agency. We're part of the Measure M, which is the pipeline, which probably would be important to pull that out, that's the pipeline. And just that, we can contract with them to buy water and participate in other programs with them, as well as, 23 other agencies or something like that are in with Mojave or something. I just said that we're not part of Mojave Water Agency.
Right. Okay, so I'll let Mark decide how we want to address that. Maybe we could, maybe the board could approve with the direction that we work with you to finalize this language or something like that.
So however it's a little more, and I thought it was really,
sounds like a lot of words that you're proposing.
Yeah, just say part of the, if you want to say Improvement District M, and say it connected to the pipeline, the Morongo Basin pipeline.
Yeah.
So people know what that is. And I thought it was really smart that the board back in 1996 did this and approved this in July when the November election made all these changes with 218.
Oh my goodness. Yes, right. We were
I thought that was
on the cusp of it. Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was really smart.
we didn't know. We didn't even know at the time. So
And I know it says that the county, the government-owned parcels are not assessed, and we have quite a few county-owned stuff, I guess, in Joshua Tree, the courthouse, the Bob Burke Building, the jail. We've got California CHP, the county library. So these are not parcels that are assessed. Then is that and our own building.
Right, and the biggest group, Director Unger, is actually government land, BLM. We have well over 800 BLM parcels in the district.
Oh, right. Okay. And it says unless and until the standby, just at the bottom of the page, is increased, it may be reauthorized from year to year pursuant to the Procedures Act, exempt from Prop 218. And we always do the standby kind of as a public hearing every year. Don't we do that?
Well, yeah, and that is, we're required to do that. We're not required to do the Prop 218 process that would be the ballot. Okay.
Oh, okay,
So
gotcha.
That's the change. You know, the Uniform Standby Charge Procedures Act does require the annual public.
Yeah. No. Okay. Hang on, I got a couple other things here. Oh, by the way, what does NBS stand for?
That's just the name. It doesn't stand for anything.
Oh, it's not Nichols and somebody and whatever.
Nope. Nope.
Okay. We will be issuing refunds.
Well, we're
on page 16 of 25, section 6-1, talking about the rate table in the county zoning update. Somewhere I had a side margin note that this, let's see, any changes will be reflected on the property taxes. Wonder what I was talking about there. Maybe that was 6.1. The original rate table, a new table creates rates are slightly lower than the original improved rates. Let's see, the original rate table created when the district was established listed minimum amounts for each of the 4 district zones. Sometime around 96, 97, a new table was created that introduced a minimum amount for all parcels under 1.25 acres. The new table creates rates that are slightly lower than the original approved rates. The district will continue to use the rate structure with 1.25 acre minimum from this point forward. Is this going to show up in any changes on anyone's property tax bill?
Oh, no, this has been in place already since 96, 97. So what this says is when the board approved the rate table in 1996, it did not include this minimum amount for parcels under 1.25 acres. That had been the criteria previously, okay? So I have done a little bit of research, but you know, this is really even stretching for me. It goes way, way back. And I cannot figure out how this came to be. This is a mistake. I mean, it's an error that this was done, but what this results in is a slightly lower charge. Okay, so before it would have been anything over an acre would have had a different charge. So now we're saying if it's up to 1.25 acres, there's a minimum charge. So it results in a lower charge. So we're comfortable with keeping that in place. And I don't think after all these years that we want to make that change at this point in time.
So I know there are tables of rates and stuff here going on page 19 to 25. And these are all current Schedule A, Schedule B. These are all as they appear on the property tax rolls and in the district stuff. Okay.
Yes, this is the current rate structure. And if you're looking at page 16, the way that the rates were adopted originally was Schedule A.
Was what?
Was Schedule. Let's see. There was no Schedule A and B. We had only Schedule B.
Oh.
Okay, so there was no minimum up to 1.25 acres.
Right,
okay.
Right.
So somehow, again, and you know, it's my responsibility. Somehow this happened. I don't quite know how. Goes way back, and And so it results in a lower charge. We don't want to increase that at this point. That's been in place all these years. A slightly lower charge. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we're comfortable that that's okay within Prop 218 because it's less than what was originally approved.
And then I think that was probably it in that section. Just like I say, I really looked at it a different way this time, and with 4 different things, and just that's what an undertaking. Thank you for $40,000. Thank you for putting that into our coffers.
Yeah.
All right, I'll move on to Director Florin, if I may.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the key calculation here, so to speak, is that we're not going to be in conflict with Proposition 218. And so there's some formulaic stuff or language actually in the back of this thing that sort of says how we're going to apply an original rate if a current calculation would create an increase. I think that's the way I understand.
Yes, correct.
So that's kind of the strategy behind this. I love the report. I think it's written very well. Surprisingly for me, surprisingly clear in its intent and some of the supporting reasoning as to why they're saying what they're saying. I want to say a few of these things just for the edification of the public on this stuff too, that there are 3 factors in this. That's the district zone, that's our zone classification, which, by the way, am I seeing that is more, that's not a geographical thing per se, it's more of a classification? In other words, a person could be in a zone 1 and be anywhere in the district because all you have to be is have a meter.
Yeah, correct.
And also theoretically, can you be in more than one zone? Because a guy's got a meter and he's within a half a mile of a water main. Does that put him in zone 1 and 2?
No, there's only one zone. The highest zone with one, being the highest, I guess. No, it isn't geographical. There are zone 1s all over the district, zone 2s all over the district, zone 3s and zone 4s all over the district. So it's each in, this specific criteria applied to each individual parcel, 12,587 times. So.
Number, by the way. Okay, moving on. I thought it was impressive that what this NBS did was they simply did not use any of our old database structure,
right,
and try to repair it or any of that other kind of stuff. One of my favorite problem-solving things, which is comparison, and they established an entirely new database for all of the properties, and then did a comparison and looked for variances between the two, and then that was their angle of attack on this thing. I kind of like that. I did notice this, and I made a note about the carrying things out to 3 decimal points instead of just 2. That's actually a very practical thing because it puts us in an alignment with what the county does.
Right.
And I appreciate the harmony and the consistency in that kind of a thing. I'm a little confused about one part. I'm on page 15 of 25, where they were saying that something in its application of rate table, there were 30 parcels identified as having possible misapplication of the methodology provided in the rate table, resulting in a decrease in some money. I won't bother naming it. these parcels should be reviewed to determine how these errors occurred. I can't see the point of going through that when they've already established an entirely new database, and that's going to be our guidepost for the future. I can't see any point in going back over anything because we know that we have issues with the old standby rates and procedures and the counting and stuff.
Well,
you'd say.
if I might, the only issue there is that the district is in possession of information that NBS doesn't have, that they simply can't possibly know. And those are things such as if a meter has been installed. They have no possible way of acquiring that information anywhere except from the district. They don't know when mains are installed. They don't know if our pressure zones change. There are a number of criteria, factors that they are not equipped to address. So that's what those sorts of things are about. So the majority of this investigatory work has already occurred. Gail has worked, her fingers to the bone over this, over the last year. One parcel can be, hours of research to get to the bottom of, why we called it this and they're calling it something else. We did not simply take their word. We at least spot checked, discrepancies, categories of discrepancies. I mean, there was an incredible amount of work on the district's part as well as the consultants. So that hopefully that answers that question.
And I've noticed here too, now I'm on 16 of 25. This speaks to the scope of this, is that it says that there are 8,016 parcels that are updated in the counties. And so that just gives you a boggling idea of the size of this thing and of this project, and the reason for the expense, which is reasonable.
Well, and it's a good thing we have this process in place for how to, assign the county zones, because we hear that the county is already reviewing zoning again. So changes are forthcoming again.
Yeah, you also said something about how they don't know what of this we did and what of that we did, and that strategic plan, which is only a guide, and it indicates on here that we either did or are about to rename our crusher zones. And I'm wondering if we're going to make a notification to NBS about any changes of the names that we have for these things, so that there isn't a confusion on that.
Yeah, that as long as we update that on our GIS maps, that will be forwarded to NBS each year as the GIS layers are provided to them.
Yeah, that'll be the basis for what they do.
Right.
I'm intrigued. I'm on page 21 of 25 now. They kind of indicate in here, NBS, that they've wanting to codify or immortalize, I forget the term, memorialize some of these procedures for updates and whatnot and stuff. And that's what this 21 of 25 is. If we're accept this report, will this simply stand within this report, or is this procedural stuff here going to go into another manual or some such thing so it's accessible?
Both of those. So that it's one of the things. It's one of the things that we are really enjoying about working with NBS on this. They are really good at this kind of thing, memorializing information, ensuring that we did this work once and we're not going to recreate this again, and creating an understanding, because they're doing our work for us. We need to know what they're doing on our behalf, and they need to know that we agree with what they're doing on our behalf. So that's part of this process. They are really a great great company.
I can tell by the way they wrote the report. And I'm kind of curious. It's been said about 2 times that the expense for all of the cost of all stuff was already in the budget. And I'm looking at the budget and I see a program area titled Bonds, Loans, and Standby. And the last item is standby administration, and there's a big jump in funding for this group of standby administration. Is this where it is, or is it mixed in someplace else?
Nope, it's all right there.
Okay, so we're jumping from $25,000 for this to $105,000 according to the budget. I don't expect you to know that off the top of your head, but I just wanted to know where I was at in this and seeing that was actually there. I'm almost done, Mr. President. And I've said this many times, and I'll say it again, that right now, the things that are being paid for, I had it underlined, but I'm buried in paper here. The things that this standby money, which is $1 million plus, pays for is being paid for by 12,587 property owners.
Right.
And if we don't do this kind of a thing, those costs, that $1 million plus in costs is going to have to be recovered by the ratepayers, not the property owners. And there are 5,000 of those. So they would see a considerably higher expense, the ratepayers would, if we did not do this in the form of a standby fee. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm done.
All right, I'll move on to Director Reynolds.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves on this. It's a report that we need to receive, and therefore we've gone over this before, and I'm ready to receive that report and move forward. I'm looking forward to the next item on the agenda, and that is basically what to do about it. To make a long story short, that summarizes how I feel.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'll ditto just about everything that everyone said. I thought the report was very well written, and I just thinking back on some places that I've been prior to being here, that cross-referencing and always a moving target. It's good that we have this in place, and kudos to the staff. And I think moving forward with the software and the technology that we have, we can certainly ensure the ratepayers that we're doing the best we can for complete transparency and accountability. So I want to thank the staff for that. Thank you very much. And with that, I will entertain a motion if it's appropriate to accept and file the parcel audit report.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
There we are. General Manager?
President Johnson?
Aye.
Vice President Unger?
Aye.
Director Flowen?
Aye.
Director Reynolds?
Aye.
And Director Hunt is abstained.
All right. Moving on to item number 8, consider refunds and standby fees, and that's Susan Greer, that reads, recommend that the Board of Directors authorize refunds and standby fees as listed on the staff report. Susan.
Perfect. So I was going to start, and Susan's available for questions as well. Just kind of dovetailing off of what we just discussed, there's 231 parcels that are eligible for refunds, which is 1.8% of the parcels that Susan had previously discussed. And again, most of those refunds are resulting from that improved GIS measuring technology. So you heard Susan mention that, we had the old ruler and paper out back in 1997. And of course, GIS has come a long way and will continue to come a long way into the future. So utilizing the new methodology and technology there, the 2019 and 20 standby fees have already been corrected. And so that leaves 3 years of refunds that would be required at the amount of $14,682.51 per year. So staff is proposing that the board elect to pay interest, which would be at the district's investment rates there. And staff is also recommending that we hire NBS, which was also previously mentioned, the authors of the report, to actually handle the administration of that, the refund process there. As you know, the finance department is going to be going through some growing pains over the next several years. We have Susan retiring, coming up way too fast here on us in December. And so this added work, not to mention, you know, the ability to handle these refunds for a living would definitely help staff out in the long run, and I think provide a better avenue for these folks to be able to obtain their refunds as fast as possible. It would start out the process basically with NBS mailing postcards to those that are eligible for the refund. That would include all the contact information for the consultant. They can then give the consultant a call and start the application for the refund work. We'd also have a website link that would connect anybody that's on our website visiting directly to the consultant's website for forms and assistance as well. And then once that whole process has gone through and it's been verified by NBS, and they would get in touch with the district, and that time the district would provide the refund request check to the parcel owner there. So that's pretty much in a nutshell how that would operate. So those 3 items are basically what staff is recommending tonight. So that would refund 3 years of the applicable standby fees at $14,682.51 per year, utilizing that claim submittal process through NBS. We pay interest on the refunds at the same rate received by the district on our investments, so that LAIF rate. And it also authorized the general manager to enter into a contract with NBS to process those standby refunds. So with that,
all right, thank you. I'll take director's comments. We'll start with Vice President Unger.
You're muted,
Rebecca. Okay. Rebecca? You're muted.
Rebecca.
Unmute.
Vice President Unger, can you please unmute?
I did. I had dogs in here and doing all this stuff, and I was like, yeah. No, I'll let Mike go ahead and he seemed like he wanted to jump in here, but I will mute myself.
Okay. All right, we'll move to Director Reynolds.
Okay, thank you. As I said earlier, we've gone into great lengths discussing this as to what we have and how we got here. You know, it boils right down to an upgrade in technology that has shown us, you know, hey, we're at a spot here. What are we going to do about it? And I think it's just cut and dry that we move forward just as it's recommended. And with that, I'm going to make that recommendation. So I would like to make that recommendation after all of the directors have their comment.
Thank you. Yeah, Director Flowen.
As we've stated before on this in other meetings, not necessarily public ones, but we are being forthright about this, and we're being proactive about this. In fairness to Susan, she says in some of her documentation on the NBS report that she was discouraged in years past to proceed with anything about this because of the high cost of the project. Also back then, the technology wasn't as what it is now, and actually probably it's less expensive to do it now than it would have been at another time. So this was the right time to do this. And in other words, we have done this in a timely fashion, given the fact that we're government. And there's lots of things to do. Even in this analysis letter here, there was a consultation with an attorney, our attorney Jeff, who's present on this Zoom meeting now. He was fully involved in all of this stuff and fully available for us.
Actually, that's Mr. Colantuno. Mr. Colantuno has been our counsel on this project.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the correction. I've confused those two before. I like Mr. Colatino too.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
I think we're being very upfront and honest about this kind of stuff. It was on the radio this morning, and I'm very pleased to support this along with Mike so far. Thank you very much. That's about it.
All right, Director Unger.
I would imagine some of these parcels have turned over a few times since 1996. How are you going to determine who's the rightful refundee or refund recipient?
The law says that we need to pay the person that paid. So it is not necessarily the current owner who is entitled. Right. So if within that 3-year window, we have more than one owner, more than one person will get a refund.
And it's just the last 3 years?
Yes.
Not going back to 1996?
No.
I'm fully on board. I'm so glad we're doing this. I didn't do any of the work, but I feel like a weight is lifted off the district.
Well, good. Glad to hear it.
All right. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been involved with this. This is an arduous process, and I am happy that we're at this position in this place. One real quick question, and I forgot to ask this on the last go round. Once we have the verbiage changed on that introductory statement for the parcel audit, this will be available for the public on the website.
Sure,
I don't put it there, but somebody can, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I'll make sure it's up there.
Yeah.
Okay, and I just, this would reinforce everything that's gone on, and they can actually read the report, because I thought it was a very, very good report. So with that, I will entertain a motion to...
Public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry. I hear none. Okay. I'm sure we'll hear something. But I'll entertain a motion to recommend that the Board of Directors authorize refunds and standby fees as listed in the staff report. Director Reynolds.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay.
Who seconded? Who seconded?
Tom.
Oh, Tom. Thank
General
you.
Manager.
President Johnson,
Yes.
Vice President Unger,
Aye.
Director Flowen,
Yes.
and Director Reynolds.
Aye.
All right, moving along.
Beverly,
Item number 9.
Can
I'm
you
sorry.
text Director Hun Beverly that he can come back on now? You don't mind?
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Thank you. Sorry, Bob.
That's fine. And when you're ready, then just go ahead when Gary gets aboard.
So while we're waiting, you might be wondering how long this will take, and NBS, I'll let them know tomorrow that we're ready to get the contract going. And they said within a month of their work, but there will involve, the district will have to be involved because they're going to have to write this postcard and develop their website and all. So we feel comfortable within 4 to 6 weeks that these postcards will be out in the mail. So.
Oh, great. Good.
I see Gary.
I see him too.
Perfect. Did you hear Gary? All right. All right, so been spending quite a bit of time with Mike Metz from Dudek, wrapping up a draft for our wastewater treatment strategy. So on the 19th of this month, we'll be having our second board meeting of the month. I intend to bring that for a first draft review to the board and discussion. We made quite a few changes based on the board and the CAC's input that we've gathered so far, and intend to bring it back to both bodies for additional comments. There's quite a bit to think about in there, and something we'll be talking about for quite a bit of time after. So also the district has been moving forward with its remodel design for customer service. Some of you may have noticed the new customer service building that we have off to the right. It looks like a got off a Connex box, but on the inside, it's very nice and comfortable for our staff. It provides them with enough social distancing to be able to complete their job, and it's a good job, good time for us to go ahead and move forward with the remodel at this time. So I actually intend to take the design of that to both committees coming up under my general manager's reports during those two committees, just so that we could have a more intimate setting to review that, and then taking it to the board also on August 19th as well for the approval on that, so that we could actually get it out to bid and get a few contractors bidding on that project for us so we can get the best pricing moving forward. So the lobby remains closed to the public. We have had a few complaints on our phone tree system, which has been limited to that. So we've been reaching out to customers pretty good using social media and our website, and everybody's been able to get through as far as our essential services go. However, we had to have a couple of the phone issues that staff is addressing right now, mostly with people getting knocked off after a few people get online. So we are addressing that. I apologize to the public if there's been any problems getting in touch with us, but we are working to rectify that issue right now. So that concludes my report. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer it.
Yeah, I do. I'll start off real quick. With the remodel design, once this is approved and it's gone through all of the steps that it has, you will be making that visible to the public. Is there a way that we can sort of, I mean, I think it's pretty exciting. We're going to have actually handicap access to the front of the building, and the design, at least what I've seen, is pretty exciting. So is there a way that we can actually let the public see what we're doing?
Yeah, sure. The design will be published as part of the board,
Yeah.
and we can certainly put those up on our website too for folks to take a look at, and
Cool.
And take plenty of pictures during the construction to show off as well. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. So this is good.
Yeah.
Other director comments? Director Floyd.
I was just kind of curious with this going to the website for our newsletter. Does that sort of take away the size or capacity of this thing, or could we put photography or a report updates about the lobby thing on the website and still, not be impinging on space limitations, so to speak?
Yeah, as part of our teardrop newsletter that's now going out electronically that Kathleen's been doing, I think she just released her second issue of that. Actually, there'll be plenty of room for us to put imagery, and I know Kathleen will be chasing me down for updates on that as well, to include pictures and information about how things are going along. So that's definitely a good idea for us to include in there. So.
Okay, Director Reynolds.
Well, construction projects are always fun with my background, I got to admit. So I'm looking forward to seeing this thing come to fruition.
Amen. All right, Director Unger. No comments. Okay. Well, I guess I'll move on to item 10, if I may. And that's director's reports on meetings, attended, comments, and future agenda items. I'm sorry, Gary, did you have any comments on Mark's report?
I do not, thank you.
Okay, I apologize. Item 10, Kathleen Radnich, public information.
All right, I've unmuted. You hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
All right. The teardrop, since we just left off with that, for those of you who have not looked at it yet, it is a meatier communication tool than our paper version. I have the luxury of a lot more space. So in this teardrop for August, I have addressed the hospitality industry with many articles related to water conservation and emergency preparedness. It's a spin-off from the first meeting we had, and very few showed up, and they indicated they'd really love to have more of this information available at their whim. So we have put it on the website, and I promoted it in the August newsletter. Being that it's so hot, I'm covering hydration principles with drinking enough water. Then there are links about the board candidacy for the Registrar of Voters and saving water with water heaters on demand. We had a request for an article on that, and this is something where now we have more space to address some of these things. The CIRP update is there, and it's a good one. August gardening tips and plant of the month, a sneak peek on our fall native plant sale, which is going to be Sunday, September 27th from 2 to 4 p.m. And then the fact that we've returned to the farmer's market, at least for a while, and that is the August newsletter. The virtual leak detection class went well. There were some who didn't make it. The presentation has been afforded us to send out. I only have like 10 or 15 days that it's available to share. So if you know anyone that couldn't make the class and needs some information on sleuthing leaks, have them contact me directly at kjradnich@jbwd.com, and I can send it to them. And then lastly, at the Legislative and Public Information Committee meeting this morning, we covered a lot of legislative stuff, and I was just in another meeting this afternoon, and a new bill is being presented. I know Susan will really like this. It's AB 1672, and it's on baby wipes not going into sewers. And it's for being addressed for the flushable types, even the non-flushable types. But apparently we don't have problems yet, but all the other major cities are really behind this, and they're pushing to see this bill go through, and it's just been proposed and written. So we'll have more on that. By the time they get it all nailed down, we may be ready for it. So that's my, oh, and the Bureau of Land Management grant is still pending. We are still waiting. So that is my report. Any questions?
Do I have any questions?
Just
Thank
a
you.
comment.
Okay,
When it comes to baby wipes, the old saying, your baby wipes is a steak dinner for your plumber. That's all I had.
Good one.
Don't flush the baby wipe.
Thank you, Director Reynolds. Mojave Water Agency Board of Directors. And
President Johnson? President Johnson?
Yes.
Jane Jarlsberg has a comment.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Jane.
I wanted to ask Kathleen, I just got my latest water bill without the teardrop. And I was just looking at the bill to see if there was a note in here somewhere that mentioned the teardrop is now online. And I'm not seeing it. I forgot it was online and I hadn't seen it, so.
It was on one of our, we mentioned it at our last board meeting also.
I understand that part, but not on my bill. The people that get the bill may say, hey, why isn't my teardrop in here?
I believe in the previous bill or the bill right before that, Kathleen, didn't we mention that as a bill
Yes.
message on there? Yeah.
We put it on the bill, and in fact, in June, we stated July would be the first.
Okay,
Yeah.
but no
digital
comment
version.
in
Maybe
general?
it should be on there every month. Maybe every month we should just say, look online for the teardrop. I think, yeah, it's really worth reading.
Special message place here, and there's blank space in it that you can put a sentence in.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
That's my thought.
I like
Okay,
that.
thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
President
Thank you.
Johnson, can I have just 2 more minutes to provide Sarah with a quick comment? We had one more thing I missed. Go ahead,
Please.
Sarah.
Thank you. A couple of things we were talking about the website. We are up and running with DocuSign now, so new applicants can submit their application directly online. We also have a new form online that if you need to disconnect services because you move or are leaving the area, that's also very easy for customers to access right from their phones or computers. So we're moving along with the times, making these transactions a lot easier, especially during this time of COVID when we're not open, and we have more to come. So this is just the beginning, so take a look and check that out. Also on July 27th, I attended the JPIA board meeting and a couple of announcements with them. If you don't know who JPIA is, they are a risk pool that we get all of our insurance from the district, from. They're had about 150 participants, and they had the same Zoom technical difficulties that we've experienced as well, so we're not alone in that. Their year-end audited financial statements received an unmodified opinion, which means that they're accurate and a well-run organization. Their losses were more favorable than estimated, so they want to send some kudos to the member agencies for doing the right things to mitigate their risk. They are proposing a 3.3% budget increase for their fiscal year that begins in October, mostly attributed to 2 new positions. And then they talked about the cost of insurances in the coming year, and we're going to see some increases, but also some decreases. Looks like worker comp is going to be going down, but health benefits, as you can imagine, are going to be going up. They provide a wellness grant to member agencies, and I just learned this week that we received one. So that is due to the health. If you guys remember the wellness plan that we implemented last year, so we submitted that plan to them as something that we're doing to help with wellness within the district, and we will have somewhere around $1,000 grant coming to us in the next 30 days. So that's exciting. They're providing a lot of COVID resources and different awards for safety. So we are working on some new safety measures at the district that we'll definitely submit to them when we get those implemented as well. And they are no impending or threatened lawsuits. So they're doing well. It was a good meeting. So if you have the chance to participate next time, definitely do so. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, Mojave Water Agency, Director Reynolds.
That was me. On the 23rd, I attended a Zoom meeting at the Mojave Water Agency, right from the comfort of my home office. It was a lot of regular business at hand. The meeting was moved along rather quickly, and they got a lot done. Approved the director's expenses, bills for payment. They adopted an employment agreement for the general manager. That was nice and a biggie.
Who's the general manager?
Huh?
Who's the general manager?
What's his name? Mark. I don't remember his last name.
Mike.
Anyway, moving right along. They also, the exciting part was they approved a big thing for cash for grass at the Silver Lakes Association, and that was kind of fun. The grass is becoming a thing of the past, and here in the desert, there you go. They also are moving forward on doing some repair and replacement of the linings and coatings in the R3 zone, booster pump station, and the surge tank. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you very much. I'll go ahead and ask if there's any comments. Mike, I'll start with you, and then we'll go with the rest of the board.
Okay,
General
thank
comments.
you. Well, we'll move right along to my closing comment. I want to thank everybody for patience on the Zoom meetings. COVID is really extended deep into the heart of 2020. Who knows how long this will last, so let's do our best. It's really real, and respect is the key. Wear your face mask, observe your safe distancing, stay at home. And let's be respectful to our friends and neighbors. Also, with the fires that are so prevalent right now, it got me to thinking, what about defensible space? Fires can ravage through our desert and have, in many cases. Pioneer Town was a threat, and we've seen it go bad. And so if you live in a house that has property, consider a safe, defensible space. And what that is clearing 20 to 30 feet at your property border to protect your house. If a fire comes through, and if you have a safe, defensible space, kind of like a fire break, that could potentially save your house in case of a ravaged fire. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. I'll move on to Director Hund.
I have no comments tonight. Thank you.
All right, Gary, thank you. Director Flowen.
Yeah, I did notice that the work on the Saddleback project has come down much closer to the highway, and it's visible from the highway. And I'm pleased that that part of the project has finally occurred, because the residents of Joshua Tree can now visibly witness where their money is going. And good for us and good for them on that deal. Instead of just seeing that equipment parked next to the highway, they're actually seeing our guys out there in action. And also, I'm very, let's say too, that I'm very proud of them for being out there doing that in this kind of weather that we're having. That's a tough bunch of guys we have out there, and I'm proud as heck of them for doing what they do. That's all, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Vice President Unger.
Yeah, I definitely echo what Director Reynolds said about your defensible space. And, you know, with Pioneer Town and Rimrock getting, you know, evacuation warnings, you know, we all need to be prepared for that. And a couple months ago, Edison sent out something, you know, about power outages, how to react to it. And I saved it, and it has a real nice diagram in there of defensible spaces. So we should all probably think that. I wanted to, today at our public information and legislative meeting, that I chair with Director Flowen and Kathleen. Kathleen brought up the importance of having a director presence, you know, monitoring the LAFCO meetings. And, you know, we may, and somehow I guess we have to decide, is it going to be one person to be the rep? Is it something we're going to rotate like we do with Mojave and all that? So I guess that needs to go on an agenda coming up. Is that how we do that?
Yes.
Discuss the desire for that or the need for that, or just have the discussion about it and do it. 'Cause now we can do all this stuff with Zoom.
I'll put it on a line item for next board meeting.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. Thank you. And that's all I have at this point.
All right. Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody, the first line responders, and especially the staff that's trudging through all of this. Prayers and thoughts to each and every one, and we want to make sure that our most vulnerable are taken care of. And with this weather, for those of you that have animals, make sure they have some water. Air quality's poor, so if you can, bring them indoors. And I love the water conservation numbers this go around. They look good, so thank you very much. With that, item number 11, future director meetings and training opportunities, Mojave Water Agency Technical Advisory Committee, Vice President Unger, that'll be on August 6th. That can't be right. That's tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Citizens Advisory Committee, I stole Tracy's thunder, I think, September 8th. And
yes.
Karen, I hope that works. And Finance Committee is one of the most riveting and exciting meetings. You certainly want to mark this one down. August 12th at 9 o'clock, and that's Director Unger and myself. Water Resources and Operations. which is also as riveting and as exciting. That'll be Director Hunt and Director Reynolds. Mojave, go ahead.
President Johnson, we saved the best for last.
That's like the icing on the cake. And the
Okay.
Mojave Water Agency Board of Directors, that's on the 13th of August. Our next board meeting will be the 19th at 6:30 and Zoom in. And Mojave Water Agency Board of Directors on the 27th, and that is me. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
God.